make some noise. Cracking me up.
What's up?
We have just arrived on the bottom of the Susten Pass. I'm here for just simply a fun evening. Susten Pass Sunday, I like to call it. Got a couple of friends with me. Got the 997 GT3, my friend's brand new GT3 RS, which he is just running in now. I think he calculated that by the time he gets to the Susten Pass, the car will be running, so he's then going to do his first 9,000 RPM. The JCR titanium exhaust is now on, the muffler. My God, it sounds incredible. Driving here now, a few fun accelerations onto the motorway, and wow, honestly, it really, for me, is the best sounding car that I've owned yet. Actually, over all of the cars, this is the best one yet. And of course I say yet because you never know. But so far, I'm working my way through the Porsche range, but up to this point, on one side, I'm extremely happy because, well, it's the greatest car I've owned yet. On the other hand, as I've spoke to a few other people, I feel like it's the peak. I'm not sure exactly what could make me happier in the Porsche range at the moment. So it kind of feels a bit worrying that, well, now I've peaked. I don't know what can come after this, but I don't care because my plans for this summer are just to enjoy this car as much as possible, not care about kilometers, get out and just drive and have fun. Heading up, everyone's left. Little solo drive up. Maybe I catch up with them. So I've done 1,000 kilometers in the first 2 weeks, and I have to admit I've never been so pumped to drive one of my cars before. This just ticks at the moment pretty much every box, I think. It always needs a bit more time to really get to know a car. That's the thing, you can have a dream car or just a car that you really want to own, but until you've lived with it for a few months, maybe you find a few things that you don't like, or it doesn't excite you as much as you thought it would. At the moment, this feels like, yeah, really just like the perfect Porsche GT car. Listen to that. Proper cracks on the upshift. I think I've had the most compliments on this one as well. It just looks fantastic. If you're into that type of thing, of course. Obviously it's not for everyone, and I can close the exhaust anytime. It's so quiet when the valves are closed. So you have the best of both worlds in here. Oh, that was a proper nice little crack then. Small tunnel here. Let's do a little small tunnel test. My plan was to come out for a drive on the Susten Pass, go take some sunset pictures on the top, but looking at those clouds, it's not going to happen. I've barely seen any sunsets this year. What are the guys doing here on the left? Just chilling, taking some pictures. Tunnel check. Now with the Sportec suspension set up as well. Feeling super nice on the corners. Look at this road. Hunting down the Mercedes AMG GT in front, who I know, by the way. This is the best sounding gear changes I've ever experienced on a Porsche. Now I understand when people said about the 991.2 is peak Porsche. they were very right. Sound, looks, performance, and luggage space, and cup holders. For me, the best cup holders in any sports car, which they took away in the 992. They became cheap and flimsy, and the 991 cup holders are the best. He's waving me past, but I will go past when it's allowed on the road. Holy moly! Oh my god, did you hear that? Holy! Best sounding car I've ever had in my life. Stopped at my usual corner. It's a really nice place to stop here just before you get to the top, because you can look down the pass and pretty much see most of it of what you just drove up. Really spectacular view. And what we're going to do, a friend of mine, Kimon, he's here in the AMG GT. We're going to rig up this little DJI Osmo thing on the side and try and get a couple of rolling shots for Instagram. This is our little setup. I've seen loads of stuff on Instagram with this. Apparently, like, this is the thing to do some nice rolling shots at the moment, some nice reels, because the thing is, well, in Switzerland anyway, when you have these big setups like on the back, they're actually illegal. Well, I think they're all illegal, right? Pretty much all of them are illegal, and this is actually legal. Try and get a few nice shots using this as the rolling car. Oh, you can see it on your phone, yeah, so you can. Okay. I can see it, and I can even track it like this. Nice. So you have someone driving, and then you sit there on your phone in the front, controlling it. Can you move it? Yeah, I can move it like this. Oh, so you can completely control. Oh, sick. That's awesome. That looks epic. So some of you might remember Kimon. Kimon was with me from like quite the beginning on my channel.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
We used to do quite cool stuff together. We didn't see each other for like how long? Like
2 years almost.
2 years.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
And now we just meet randomly again on the pass.
Yeah.
Start shooting stuff again. I love it. Super cool. That's really, really cool, man.
I love it,
dude. Welcome to part 2 of today's video, where I've decided to carry on filming. Originally, what I'm doing now, I wanted to be a whole separate video. Long story short, would you believe it? Surprise, surprise, the weather has caught us out. So I did actually want this to be a whole other video. And as Brooke, 996 Road Trip, will back me up.
What's up?
Super cool to see this guy here, by the way. So I wanted today to film like a whole video separate to my my last drive. As you know, this morning was just hell.
Unreal.
Unreal, right? The rain. All I do now in every video is I complain about the rain.
The rain.
Yeah, it's, man.
You need to come to Oregon and spend some time with me. I felt at home here.
Really?
It was raining.
Then I'm definitely not coming over there. Can anyone suggest that where we can go that's good weather? Like, please tell us, because I'm at my limit now. It's 4 months of raining nearly every day. Can I just ship my car somewhere?
It's quite terrible.
Yeah, to say the least. That's being nice.
Sheets of rain.
Yeah, and hail.
Oh, yeah,
so I need to check my car later. That was actually quite a worry of mine. It was about the hail actually, and that came today. So. So we lost the whole morning basically.
Yeah.
That was a write-off. Undrivable it was such bad weather.
But we found some dry pavement, which is really, really nice.
So right now, ending on the Klausen Pass, these guys are sleeping up at the hotel on the Klausen Pass tonight. I'm going to head home after. But what I thought I would do is simply, I wanted to show what was going on, because it's not obviously every day that we're together, that we finally get to meet up and you're here, and we've wanted to film together for a long time. I mean, you guys are on like a week-long trip.
It is a week-long trip for most people, but for me, it's actually a month.
You're a month,
Because from here, I do the Monte Carlo route in France. And
which I might be able to come down to, by the way, next week, right?
That would be great, yeah.
I might be able to come down and join that with good weather.
That would be amazing, because the weather is supposed to be good. Yeah. And then after that, I'm doing Italy. We're going up to Bozen, like Bolzano. Yeah. And then after that, I'll be doing Austria, Grossglockner. So I've basically got 4 weeks of driving the Alps.
Okay, and in most of it in this, you've borrowed this.
So typical fashion,
obviously.
I've got some amazing followers and they loan me cars just about everywhere I go. The last follower that loaned me his car that I bought, which was...
oh, really?
Yeah, I literally drove it for 3 days and then I just drove it all the way home. Okay. We should talk about that one.
Wholly
separately, that's a whole nother video.
When I eventually come visit you, which I will do, I know I really need to. Yeah. Not in rainy season,
No. Well, not in the rainy season.
I just can't.
We'll stick you in each of the cars.
Anymore. I just can't.
Well, I'll have 2 safari cars, so we'll do some really crazy stuff off pavement.
Okay.
But yeah, so I drive this one for Switzerland. Yeah. And then I drive back to Frankfurt on the 22nd on Tuesday, and I pick up a 3-liter SC that a friend of mine, actually the guy that I bought his other car, is letting me also borrow that car. Nice. So I'll drive that in France, Italy, and Austria. Yeah, it's gonna be amazing.
Super cool. Heading up the not Susten Pass. I'm so used to saying Susten Pass. The Klausen Pass with 996 road trip in front, in the turbo, which is from the Netherlands. And at the same time, we're getting a couple of drone shots. So he's got his videographer with him. Got the drone in the air at the moment. As you maybe know, I really never come and film on this pass. And that is because it is a beautiful, spectacular road for pictures and everything, but extremely bumpy, very narrow. So normally you really wouldn't catch me at this pass, especially in this car. It's a pass particularly good for motorcyclists and like kind of smaller sports cars, like a Lotus Elise. You will love it up here in that car. In a GT3 RS, especially not the 992 Porsches that just got really fat, but with the suspension on this as well, it's not the most pleasant pass. But this is where the guys are staying tonight, and I thought it would just be actually a nice excuse to finally show you the pass a bit.
Maybe drone issues.
Drone issues. Is it in the air still? Oh, there it is. I see it.
I literally have to go grab it.
He's running to grab the drone over an electric fence. Nice.
That's so like max altitude. It's just
maxed out everything. I think it's time to upgrade drones.
I have it at home.
So now attempting to get a couple of rollers. That's very daring of them. Tight pass. And lots of railings very close to him. I personally wouldn't be doing that, but fair play. And as I said, there's a bumpy stretch on the Klausen. Hopefully worth it for the shot. This is the commitment. You see here, this is super narrow, blind corner. Listen to this. Loving the sound of this so much. The good thing about this pass is that all of the wall along the side creates quite a nice reflection from the sound of your car. But as I said, bumpy. The camera's probably shaking around like crazy. Maybe one day Switzerland will re-tarmac this road, then it would be quite literally a mini racetrack. Let's make some noise. What a sound! Let's do that again, sorry. And that's still under the speed limit. Short gear ratios. Again, another reason that I love the RS. Yes, of course on the motorway the revs sit a bit higher, but for me worth it. Listen to those cracks. Proper, naturally aspirated smile right here. Ear to ear smile. Very spectacular. The mountains look really, really cool on the Klausen Pass. So for pictures especially, looks very, very cool. Cheeky overtake. Brooke pushing that 996 around the corner. I heard tyre squeal. Slight softer section on the Klausen Pass there. There's a couple of bits that smooth out, not many. Majority is bumpy. And as far as I remember, this is the bumpier side. Struggling for traction because I think my wheels are literally jumping off the floor. That's fun.
Boosted, this is so much fun.
Yeah, just suddenly nothing and then
It takes a minute though.
Yeah. Just arrived at the top of the Klausen Pass and got my epic new camera with me. This is the top of the range stuff. Forget your Leicas and stuff, this is where it's at. Now, all jokes aside, I decided to buy a cheap disposable film camera because I just want to try it out, and recently I got a bit fed up of seeing everything on social media overly polished, people looking fake, everything looking fake, everything just looking like a PlayStation. So
I heard you talking trash about Leicas.
Yes. Very expensive piece of kit.
I'm all about these.
Right.
I buy like 10 at a time.
Yeah, which I heard. I didn't know, so I'm not the only one. Yeah, I literally have no idea how the picture's going to look, and I just took my first few photos on it, and that was super fun. It's because you really had to think about it, and you like took it like, I'm so used to instantly looking, I go, no, delete, I'm not looking perfect, delete, the light's wrong, delete.
It's actually really rewarding to go home, get it all developed, and then get it all back and go, oh, well, this is trash, this is amazing. You know, like, there's always a really good one in there.
I'm really excited. Yeah. And as you showed me as well, you've got this like a Polaroid.
Yeah, it's like a little, this little thing. Little Sofort 2.
But it's also like a...
I mean, let's be real, it's actually a Fuji.
Okay.
It's basically a Fuji and a Leica body, but it's got some interesting features in it. But yeah, you can print off, instant photos, which is kind of fun. I got bored taking photos and just putting like these perfect looking photos. Not that I take perfect photos, but with no errors and no option for mistake. Yeah. And I'm like, I need something to kind of like get passionate again about photography. Yeah. And the instant camera was kind of it.
Exactly that. So it's actually just by chance. So I didn't actually speak to anyone about telling anyone. I just had a moment like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, man, I need to change. And I was like, okay, I'm going to buy Leica. It's like $6K for what, the Q3?
Yeah, that's exactly, it's crazy.
And then I said to myself, but then I'm spending a ridiculous amount of money again on a digital camera, which I will then import and then make polished. Yeah. I said, you know what? I'm going to spend, I think this Fujifilm cost me, I think it's like 20 francs for 2. A super 90s. I'm just loving the 90s vibe on it. And I have no idea. It could be trash. Like, it could be just
you're gonna love
absolute
it. You need to put these in your next film.
No, I will. Yeah, I will show them eventually, and I'm gonna scan them all. And maybe I'll like edit them slightly. But I'm really looking forward to it.
They're great.
And if it goes well, I might then consider actually buying a real film camera.
True. A Leica.
But that's the point. Like the M11 Leica, so it's like what, like 10K. Madness. Then you're spending ridiculous money again.
Total madness.
Yeah, I might. If this works, I'm just gonna.
I'm telling you, I buy a dozen to 20 at a time.
Really?
Yeah. I use Ilford's. The Ilford one is really nice.
Okay.
Just,
And I just love the 90s vibe on it. It's so friggin' cool.
It's cool.
Yeah, in the world of everyone now just having just more expensive cameras now, you just whip this out. You are the coolest guy around, I can assure you.
Last year in Austria, I brought one for like all the people, and I gave them to them, and you get some really cool stuff back. And I think that's awesome.
That's nice. I think what we do, what we talk about often is like the story, right? That's way more important. Like, of course, I like to do stuff nice and cinematic, and I love to make things look nice. But at the end, it's like something like this probably tells a better story.
It's got emotion.
Yeah,
it's got a little bit more emotion to it. It's instant.
Yeah, and I like grain. So many photographers that I follow, it's like they just denoise it so much that it's like everything looks alien, and there's no texture or feeling to it. I like film grain.
You're gonna love this.
Oh man, I'm excited. How did you find the Klausen pass, by the way? How was your?
So, how did I experience, or how did I find it?
Right, yeah. How was your experience?
My experience, the lower half was smooth. Yeah. The upper, probably 2/3 was very bumpy.
Yeah.
And very tight.
Yeah.
And I'm in a 996 turbo, and it's got nice, soft, cushy suspension and boosty, and I can't imagine being in an RS car.
It was I was
tough.
Flying around a bit.
Yeah, I saw.
It's on my head just jumping around.
A little bit. Yeah.